Hello, welcome to the Trauma Bond with Theresa Bateman podcast. Thank you for being here. I'm your host, Theresa Bateman, and every week I'm going to sit down with a member of my creative community to discuss our traumas, big and small. From the petty to the PTSD to the punchlines of our best jokes, the issues of today, our triggers of the week, and our most problematic opinions, and ultimately how we find the funny in the bad shit that's happened to us. In the end, we'll form a lasting bond. A trauma bond. Sit back, listen, and bond with us, won't you?
And light another dude, cause it's what? It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Trauma Bond with Theresa Bateman. Today, I am joined by a very special guest. They are a stand-up, sketch, and improv comedian known for writing the WGA Award nominated film Prom Dates on Hulu. They perform regularly on UCB Harold Team Dance Club Remix, and have performed at Just for Laughs, where they won the Homegrown Comics competition. You may have seen them on HBO, Prime, and Dropout TV. Please join me in welcoming DJ Mausner.
Hi. I love that a plane landed in your apartment during that. I kind of love it.
No, it's great.
I
It's good.
love that. And listen, that was my ride. So we got the most important part out and away I go.
Stunning. What an arrival. If only we had video of that. Just a plane driving by.
I saw the wings of the plane through your window. It literally sounded like it was going to land in the pool outside your apartment. Water landing, emerge landing.
I love when we start recording the podcast and it's the exact moment something crazy loud happens. And it's been happening like last week. I started recording and then there's construction over there that is just like,
oh, totally.
And I'm like,
that's
yeah,
like
absolutely.
for my podcast conversion therapy.
Shout out.
Often there's a guy that'll come up and down the street selling like obviously delicious snacks, but the horn on his golf cart is a clown horn, like honker, 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 and he just hammers it for like I want to say 30 to 50 seconds at a time. And some people comment on it and others don't, but it really does feel like clown car going on the street, which is actually apropos for my entire life.
Yeah. Hey. When it fits, it fits.
Exactly.
When you're on brand, you're on brand.
100%.
100% of the time. How are you doing today? How's your day going?
I'm doing all right. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you.
Has Alfie made an appearance on the pod already?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I would imagine he's the star of the show.
He is the star.
Always love to see little Alfie. Got to give him a pet.
He's definitely a character on the pod. Sometimes he'll be sitting right next to me. Sometimes he'll be sitting with my guest. Sometimes he'll just be like trotting around. You hear his little jingle jangle.
Yep.
But yeah, that's my guy, my sweet little baby son.
Yeah, that's a good guy. He is the intern on the pod.
Yeah. He helps a lot.
He's helping with the edits.
Yeah, he's helping with the edits. He's helping
lining
with
up
morale,
the sound.
most of all. It's about time he gets his ass to work, earns his keep around here.
Yeah,
My
earn your
baby.
rent.
Yeah, come on. You have no
he
idea
just
how
looked
good
at
you
me.
have
Oh,
it.
look at
He's
his
like,
ears.
what do you mean? What are you talking about? He's doing this thing now where he's discovered we have this little back patio out the kitchen door, and that's where the sunshine hits, and he's
still cooking
nothing else a sunshine boy.
Yeah, he's got a sizzle in
He
there.
has to bake in the sunshine.
Totally.
So he'll just like after he eats breakfast, he'll be like at the
He's
door.
Like, I already ate. It's time for
He's
me
like,
to tan.
it's sunshine time. What are we waiting for? And so now he's just demands his sunshine time out there, and he will toast in the sun. And then, but I have one neighbor that he will bark at every time, and I'm like, and weirdly, her name is also Teresa, and I'm like, what?
Imposter!
He's like, there can only be one.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
And you know what? He's protecting your dignity and your honor. And
Yeah.
actually, you should be thanking him
And I
for
should
that.
be thinking. And she says that too. Every time I'm like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, it's okay, Alfie. See how he protects you? I'm like, you're right, other Teresa. You're right.
Thank you, Theresa.
Thank you.
Have a great day,
It's
Theresa.
like looking in a mirror. But she does not. I think she does spell it the same way. But her last name also begins with a B. It's weird over here. It's a weird situation.
It is kind of interesting what dogs bark at. My family dog Schnapps, R.I.P. We love her and we miss her. She used to bark. She was like a Westie, so a little white dog with pointy ears.
Yeah.
She used to lose her mind at little white dogs. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
that is some unexamined self-hatred. I'm like, baby girl, what's going on
Baby
here?
girl, look in the mirror,
Little
honey.
projection happening.
Mhm.
She also used to bark at geese in formation and jet streams in the sky. I'm like, how can you even see that? What do you think it is?
What do you think
What are
it
you
is?
looking at that's making you get so pissed off? I mean, obviously they have like incredible hearing, so
Yeah.
she's hearing them and she's like, yeah,
She's
you
like,
know,
there's something wrong here.
totally.
Alfie will, I mean, he's so random with who and what he barks at, but something that's consistent is if he sees one of those orange cones that's like
Like a
people put,
traffic
yeah,
cone?
like a traffic cone. If he comes across one on a walk, he's like, ugh. And I'm like, what do you think is happening? Oh, you're going blind, huh? My buddy.
But traffic cones too. I mean, it's like it's still.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's awesome, actually, to me. I think as we get older, we get to choose one sort of confusing thing to get incredibly pissed off at all the
Yeah.
time. And you kind of get it carte blanche.
Yeah.
Like, as long as it's not rooted in some weird political point of view, you do kind of get to choose one odd thing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I will say, like, I know, I'm sure we'll talk about triggers on this podcast.
Yeah, we're getting there.
But, like, okay, and I know that I'm wrong in this scenario. Like, I want everyone to know I don't think this is good, and I
Yeah.
feel embarrassed saying it. But I was at a cafe this week, and the person working there was announcing that it was closing in the afternoon, like in like, let's say half an hour.
Mhm.
And he announced it so theatrically that it pissed me off. And honestly, why? Who am I to get between a person and them trying to enjoy their fucking day at their service job where they probably make no money an hour?
Yeah.
But they were like, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, the cafe is closing in 15 minutes. Thank you for your patronage. And I was like, I'll hit you. Like, I'm gonna be in jail because a nice person was trying to have a nice time at their job, and I'm a fucking Scrooge.
No, but you also know because it's LA, it's an audition.
Oh
They're
God.
like,
Oh
who
my
here
God.
might set me free from this cafe?
And he thinks that's
Will
what's
I be
gonna do
scouted?
it.
Yeah. He's
He's
like, I'm
like-
gonna be scouted.
He's
today.
doing this the whole time. He's showing his hands back and forth. 5:10. Cafe closing in 5-10 minutes. Yeah.
Based in Los Angeles,
You know what's-
will shave, no tattoos.
Cafe closing in 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you. That's, hilarious about the like getting discovered. So my grandma was an actress
Yeah.
before she had kids. She had like a short acting career. She did a lot of community theater. Her claim to fame was
So
she did a
cool.
play in Long Island with Richard Kind.
Oh my God.
Which is actually kind of crazy.
Richard Kind. No, that's legendary.
Yes,
He's so,
same.
I love Richard Kind.
Yes, I have her resume. I kept it after she passed away last year. And on it, under special skills, she has a driver's license, which is awesome. And also actually is a special skill because if anyone knows me, they know I don't have a driver's license. Tolliver is fucking
Yes, Tolliver's-
same. Yeah, now I know
Tolliver
you like
doesn't
those
drive.
long walks.
Yep.
Me fucking too. Me
Yep.
fucking too. But she was always my first job in LA when I first lived here like years ago, was working in an ice cream store. And she was like, and I was like, it's like I'm trying to make some money. I'm doing some stuff at theaters, and she like a Long Island Jewish woman who was like 4'11" with an orange afro was like with long acrylic nails. She
Oh
was
my
like,
God,
You
iconic.
never know who's gonna walk in. You never know. And somebody might say, "You're right for the part."
and I'm like, her whole life really lived like in
You're
that
right
world.
for
Yeah,
the
she's like,
part. It's you, kid.
I'm like, you've seen too many movies, but that's really what she believed.
Yeah.
And honestly, who am I to say? Who was I at that time to say no to her? She
No.
was genuinely. She was funny unintentionally, but she was also very funny
Yes.
intentionally.
Oh my God.
So all this to say, like once I was on the phone with her, and my next door neighbor had like 7 to 10 chihuahuas, as one does.
Mhm.
I mean, we all would if we could afford
yeah,
it.
we would if we could.
And I was just like chatting with her, and next door the dogs were barking, and she goes, "Do you have a dog?" And I go, "No, it's my next door neighbor." She goes, "Your father says I'm losing my hearing. I can hear a dog all the way in California." That's fucking
That's
hilarious.
amazing.
That's the tightest joke that's Nichols and May.
Wow, I
It's
really
incredible.
wish I could have met her.
Yeah, she was.
What
she
an
was a doll.
icon.
Truly
and
an
a
icon.
legend.
I will maybe for you to put into a clip, send you a picture of her headshots.
Oh my God, please.
There's
Yes.
2 that she took at like a hair salon in Florida when she was like in her 60s.
Oh my God.
Where she's wearing costume jewelry, and on the back of one of them she wrote "for obit." She was like,
she was ready.
Yeah, she was like, and she lived to be like a bajillion years
She's
old.
like, listen, we're all gonna die someday.
Yes.
I'm just prepared.
Yeah, she's like, who's to say I can't look good after I go? She literally was like Betty Boop vibes.
That's
and
incredible.
I'm doing this impression, and I used to do this for my friends when she was alive, and they're like, there's no way she sounds like that. And then I'd like take a phone call with her on speakerphone, and they'd be like, that's a cartoon character.
Amazing.
And she was.
That's amazing.
So maybe she's just in Toontown, Roger Rabbit style.
Obsessed. My mom, the like thinking that you could just like call him up and get a job or whatever, and like show, or you never know who's gonna walk.
Hollywood.
Yeah, my mom still thinks that. She's just like, you want to be on SNL? You should email Lauren. I'm like, what do you think? I like you. I know people on SNL. If it was that easy, I'd call one of them up and hey, put in a good word with Lauren. I'm like, if you think that that's like a possible way to go, and I haven't done that,
you're like, oh my god, email Lauren.
Duh. I'm such a stupid bitch.
You know, I was thinking, but then I didn't, and this is the final push I needed. Which, God bless.
Yeah,
let her believe that that's the truth.
But also in an insulting way. So when are you going to start making money from stand-up? I said, when are you going to start making money from community theater, mother?
That really is
Two
some
can play this
crazy,
game.
Pot calling tea kettle.
Yeah.
It's really like, I love that she's like, this really isn't lucrative, as she's like sewing sequins onto like a tree costume.
Exactly.
You're like, what? Hey!
She's doing community theater. She's playing volleyball. She's volunteering
Volleyball!
for like bike race.
Okay.
It's just
volunteer to get the bike race.
Like, Mom,
Modest
you spend
Mouse album.
100% of your time doing stuff for free. Why is it bad that I do stand up sometimes and get either a free drink or like $5?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, and here's where we get not fun, and that's that everything revolves around capitalism, and value is attributed by a dollar amount.
I'm so sick of it.
I know.
I'm so tired.
Tell me about it.
Speaking of,
Yep.
do you have something that you would consider to be your trigger of the week? Anything really pissing you off, grinding your gears, getting you up in arms, reminding you of old wounds?
Well,
we
were talking about this mere moments ago,
Yeah.
but that our federal taxes go towards aiding, abetting, and actually directly contributing to the murder of innocent Palestinians and Americans
and people all over the world.
People all over the world. Just actually, you know what? I limited it to those two. It's crazy how the whole rest of the hour of this podcast could just be listing places that our taxes fund terror for.
Quite literally.
Which is awful.
Yeah.
And feels like I refuse to be one of those people who's doom and gloom, because I do feel like as a white person, I'm like, yeah, actually it's not. I don't get to be like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we did this, so we don't get to be like, and we can't fix it. It's like, no, go do something.
Literally
about
do
it.
anything.
Yeah. But yeah, that, and of course, equal to that is the man theatrically shouting when the cafe closes.
Yeah.
Kind of on par to me.
Two very equal damaging things in the world,
Yep.
equal triggers, and makes total sense.
And at least my tax dollars don't go to that guy. Phew!
Thank God.
He was tipped. He was tipped, and I wish him well.
And I wish I hadn't tipped him. Fuck that guy.
He's just trying to enjoy his life.
And he does have a manager now. Congrats.
Oh my God. He's
not just one
busy.
at the cafe. He's
on
busy.
Law and Order.
He goes to
Iowa. He's playing a guy stacking boxes in a subway.
He goes to every cafe at closing time, and it's like, excuse me, everyone. Does the scales.
He's doing scales. Not even something that would actually help him. He's like, look what I can do.
Oh my God, I cannot. It like hurts. My cheeks hurt. Oh my God. I wish I could see what he looks like.
He was actually, here's the most annoying part, incredibly good looking.
Yeah.
It was not a guy who was like, oh, you grew up kind of weird, and so you feel that you need to act, you need to always be on, which you think people like, but in fact it turns them away.
Yeah.
And instead, he was an incredibly attractive, weird guy.
Yeah.
Which
and
I'm like,
that happens a lot in LA.
Yeah.
Because that's what's so funny about like the rest of America or the world or whatever idolizing like actors in Hollywood, like being so hot. I'm like, for sure, lots of beautiful people. They're all fucking freaks.
Yeah, totally.
They're
Like,
all total weirdos.
the hot people I know who are normal, I'm like, oh, you had like a really good family,
Yeah.
or like you were told that your value is more than just like how other people are perceiving you on a surface level. But there, of course, I mean, tale as old as time, incredibly conventionally attractive people who never had to learn how to have a conversation or be charismatic, and so they're like not. It's like the spectrum is from like blatantly weird to Patrick Bateman, you know, like it's like
which one am I gonna get today?
Totally. And honestly, sometimes give me the fucking murderer.
Yeah,
because I'm like, I don't want to have to pretend a bit is funny.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, I won't.
Yeah. Hey, and that's so fair, and you won't. And thank God, because more people need the truth.
But again, I'm not saying this being like, and that's what makes me cool. I'm like, no, I mean, I could just riff the bit and be a nice person, but sometimes you get your fill. Sometimes you get your fill and then you're done.
And it's better to be genuine and true to your heart, honestly.
Well, I also do think, and I say this all the time, is like being like in working in comedy and having friends who are comedians. Like, I'm so spoiled for charismatic people.
Yeah.
Like, all of my friends are the funniest people you've ever met.
Yeah.
Like, and genuinely funny in unique ways.
Yes.
That it's really, really hard when, you know, it's kind of like, and listen, don't get me wrong, love musical theater, but like when you go to a musical, I think it's Jess Solomon who said this joke of like, when you go to a musical and they're like, Dad, you know I'm not gonna get a cup of coffee, and the audience like freaks out and laughs, like they're like slapping their knees and like punching themselves in the dick laughing, and you're like, what? And it's because they didn't expect to laugh, so they're like, even like crumbs.
Oh my God, that's such a good point.
They're reacting to. That's what it feels like when a hot person who's not funny tells me a joke, and I'm like, I know you want it so bad. You want me to be like, oh, and I just.
Paul Rudd built his whole career on that.
Oh, damn.
You know?
Shots fired. I mean,
sorry. I know he is genuinely funny.
I do find him genuinely funny.
No, he is genuinely funny.
Okay.
It was just more so like initially,
totally.
He's so conventionally attractive, no one saw it coming.
Well, I feel like his role, he has such a small role in Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
The Baz Luhrmann
Romeo
one.
plus Juliet.
Romeo plus Juliet. Sorry, Baz. Sorry, Baz. Let me email Baz after I email Lauren apologizing for that.
Baz writes to the podcast, excuse me.
Yeah, excuse me.
I heard you missay the title of my film.
He cares much. But yeah, that in that movie, I feel like most of it is just his sort of like doofy react. He's like, as Paris, he's like, dude. Yeah. And guess what? Absolutely does it for me.
Yeah. Oh,
absolutely
he's
does
such
it
a
for
cutie
me.
pie.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Even when he's hooking up with his stepsister in Clueless, I'm like,
well,
how come I don't have access to something like that? And where's the program that enrolls me in something like that?
It's not weird when they do it because they're hot. They're hot people privilege. Hot people privilege.
Yeah, imagine Clueless with two absolute fucking Uggos just like slobbing on each other, related kind of.
People would not have stood for it.
People would have rioted.
There would have been protests. There would have been protests. There would have been screenings of that film.
No kings and no Uggos making out if they're related.
No kings, and more importantly, no Uggos.
No Uggos.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm dead. Okay, I'm gonna ask you another question.
Yeah,
now.
get in there.
Okay. Can you think of a time you were at like a party or social setting where you like had a story you thought was really gonna make everybody laugh, but it actually made people concerned and they were like, wait, that's actually really sad. Are you
This is a tough question because I definitely know it's happened.
But you are so funny all the time.
That's
so.
nice. I swear to you, that's not where I was going.
No, I don't
but
think
everyone did laugh.
No, I didn't think that's where you're going, but I just had to say it for myself.
Well, I think like Alge touched on this in an episode that she was in.
Mm-hmm.
They were in?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Alge touched on this in an episode she was in, but any joke when you're a fat person that you make about being fat, people are always like, oh,
yeah.
They get big goo eye. And I'm like, huh? I used to have a joke in my stand-up where I'd be like, so I'm fat. And then I'd be like, everyone's buttholes in here just tightened up.
Yep.
And it's funny because when you talk to anybody who isn't fat about being fat, they're like, I just have a big boned personality. And you're like, oh my God, like, are you good?
I'm sorry, is this hurting your feelings?
Like, whoa.
No, even it's
wild.
Insane.
Yeah, they don't want to hear it.
They don't want to hear it because first there's two things happening, I think. They're like, you're not ugly. But I'm like, well, we didn't say that.
And I didn't even say that.
And we didn't say that.
that.
And you're conflating the two in your head.
Yeah.
And that's your first misstep.
Totally.
Even when and they're like, no, you can't be honest. It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We're all supposed to just pretend, right? It's like, even when I posted, like, one of our most successful clip was me and Alge talking about being fat and like thin people trying to like come into this space of body positivity and kind of taking it over.
Yeah, totally.
And even in response to that clip, I had people be like, "But you're not fat," and I'm like, "Okay,
Oh
I'm
my
not. That's not what
God.
I'm asking for here. I didn't do this. I posted this for the opposite reason. Actually, I did not post this to get DMs of like, "Oh no,
Hey girl,
no,
just
baby
wanted to
girl."
let you know you're beautiful just the way you are, Bruno Mars.
And you're like, I'm gonna come to your house and I'm gonna suffocate you with my fat ass and thighs. And honestly, it will be a
And
win.
you're welcome.
It'll
You're
be a win
welcome.
for the body positivity community. One of my favorite parts about thin people being in the body positivity movement was when all those videos were going around on TikTok of someone being like,
Guys, that pouch in front of on your stomach, that's not fat. That's your uterus. It's natural.
and I'm
It's
like,
natural.
bitch, I'm fat. Unless I have 40 uteruses in my body, that's a roll.
That's literally
It's
just.
fact.
I can feel it. They're still doing that, by the way. They're still doing
Why?
it.
Just don't.
They're like, we have to justify why we have this because it's actually biological. So you can't call me
Exactly.
fat. I mean,
You
ugly. I mean, gross. I mean, disgusting. I mean, a
mean,
pig.
bleh,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
fine. I mean, it's fine.
And you're like, oh my God.
like, babe.
It is crazy. Like, listen, we are, when you're socialized as a woman,
Yeah.
you are, poison is dripped into your ear from the moment you're born. Like,
Yep.
there was some study that was like babies who are chunkier, there were nurses like feeding them less because they were like, well, baby fat, baby no need milk. Baby big chunky
my-
fat baby.
oh
And
my
it's like,
God.
what? Like, that's how young, it's like really,
It's so
really
fucked.
terrifying.
Yeah.
So I have sympathy for people having this like fucking brain rot about being fat.
Totally.
And at the same time, I am like, hey, you can educate yourself by the
Yes.
time you turn 23, 24. You can Google things and you can talk to people in your life and you can understand that your value actually stems from a lot of different places.
A lot of different places.
Uh,
and you can also trust me,
Yeah.
a person with lived experience, to just be like, I got this one, girly.
Yeah, totally.
Let's just, maybe
It's-
you don't need to chime in.
You know what is crazy about like body dysmorphia in general? Being like trans masc and like having had top surgery and whatever, it is crazy to grow up like your whole life with one severe type of body dysmorphia that's like
Waist 2 inches, hips 35 inches,
lips extended up your face, big blonde hair, and then your body dysmorphia is turned to like rail thin,
Yeah.
no hips, shredded, jacked pecs. I'm like, what the hell? I had the wrong body dysmorphia. Now I have to have a new one. Now I have to go through a new one.
Oh,
it feels
God.
crazy.
Unrelenting.
Yeah,
Never
really awesome
ending.
vibes.
Yeah, I love
Really
it.
cool vibes. And
So
being
sick.
trans is actually really easy. So that's
Yeah.
just like a really nice thing to put on top of it.
Yeah, it's actually so like chill and nobody cares. And
Nobody
it's all
cares.
good.
One cool thing about being trans is
Is
nobody cares.
Nobody has an
Nobody
opinion.
even seems to notice. And when they do, they go, that's nice for you.
They go, I'm so happy you
Which
did
is cool.
that.
And especially, you know, when you're talking to someone you haven't seen in a while and you see them get sort of uncomfortable, you know that it's not about you being trans.
Yeah.
It's just they might have had a weird day or something.
Yeah, totally
Really
not
awesome.
about you. It's so
Mhm.
sick. I love it. I
Mhm.
love it.
Mhm.
Everybody's doing well.
Everyone's awesome. And most of all, us.
And most of all us. Absolutely. Okay. Is there something that you grew up around and thought was just like normal or common, but then when you got older and maybe left home or left your hometown, you realized it was maybe kind of weird or particular to where you were from or particular to your family in some way?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's like I was trying to like cook around on some on this question. It's rather this is a tough question to answer. I think like I think a lot of families do, but it is weird to me like how much our families would like talk about our bodies like to us.
Yeah.
Like family members in quote unquote non-sexually being like,
Yeah.
wow, your sister's boobs are really big.
Oh my God.
What?
Oh my
Why?
God. Why? are we
First of
doing
all,
that?
we all have eyes.
Yeah.
Second of all,
Zoinks.
what am I supposed to say? You know what? You're right.
You know
like
what? Look at them
Look
titties.
at them things are thangin'.
Them
Like
things on my sister.
What the fuck? Like talking about that or like just a conversation about someone else's habits,
Yeah.
you know, and being like, well, and we're right and they're wrong, usually around food or like
Yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
Which I'm like, hey, we actually don't need to do that,
Yeah.
which is
Maybe let's mind
crazy.
our own business.
Yeah, and I feel like talking to other people when they're like, I was best friends with my aunt, and we went shopping, and I was like, what the hell, like in comparison, like my family on both sides, like we all have like a pretty solid dynamic, I would say,
Mhm.
and at the same time, just like weird shit like that.
Yeah.
Of just being like, well, so and so got pretty fat over the summer.
Oh my
That's
God.
interesting.
Why are we talking about this?
Yeah.
Can we maybe let sleeping dogs lie or
Totally,
whatever
totally.
the fuck?
And
I
it's
don't
also
know.
convenient. We never sort of talked about the like rampant alcoholism of
Yeah.
my grandparents or whatever. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
let's get over to that subject.
Yeah, maybe we could talk openly about that stuff instead of how people are looking physically.
Yeah, it's
That'd
crazy.
be cool. That would be nice to talk about anything real.
100%. Well, okay,
Mom.
wait. Surrounding this question, what have other people said in the past?
I'm trying to think of honestly, as soon as I'm asked, brain goes fully
Yeah,
blank.
totally.
Brain goes, and and any of these turned back on me, I go, oh wait, no, I'm in the driver's seat. But like for me, I don't know, something like my mom would collect little plastic bags and just have a plastic bag full of lots of plastic
yeah, we
bags.
had that. Not
And
to
I
be,
and then I
like,
was like,
insane,
oh,
but-
that's like a poor person thing, or like someone who with poor person trauma in their
Totally.
lineage thing, where it's like must save everything.
Oh yeah, okay. Here's one. Women in your family eating only liquids.
Oh yeah.
Huh? I'm
Mm.
like, you don't even have to push when you go to take a shit. You just sit down.
It's whoop.
Yeah, it's
Just
coming out like
pure liquid.
Yeah, like a broken soft serve
Oh,
machine.
God. Was it like? Are we talking like smoothies, Slim Fast? What?
It's like smoothies, soups where it's just a bunch of vegetables blended up with a
No.
plain yogurt put on top.
Oh Lord.
And then drinking a lot of water. Or did you ever have someone when you were like a chunky kid and you were hungry, they'd be like, drink a glass of water and then see how you
Yes.
feel. I'm like,
Yes.
well, now I have to piss and I'm hungry.
Yeah, you fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
It's like
mm.
it's small things like that. I feel like I've heard people tell stories like this where they'll go somewhere and they'll be like, what is happening? Or did you see that trend for a bit where people were talking about, I don't want to label the country, but I think it was like Swedish families or German families or something, where like when you were a kid on a play date, if you'd go to someone's house and it was time for them to have dinner, like the guest would just like stay alone in a room while the family went to have dinner.
What?
Like they weren't like, no problem, you can join us. It would be
No.
like, no, you just go home and have dinner.
That's nuts.
Yeah, like weird shit like that, which is like,
You
seems
wait
crazy
in
to me.
here. Be right back.
Yeah, exactly. We're putting you in the padded room with the lock on the outside.
God.
We eat our Wiener Schnitzel
That's
or whatever.
so
I can't remember what
funny.
it was, but like it's hard to. I mean, okay, I guess here's one kind of.
Okay.
My response to this is not going to be as like fun and trauma based as
That's
my other
fine.
answers, but growing up in Canada versus here, I remember when I first moved here, I was like, when I was in the movie theater, like every 20 minutes I'd be like, let me just do a quick check to see nobody's gonna stand up and shoot this
Yep,
place up.
yep,
Okay,
yep,
we're
yep,
good.
yep,
Lean
yep,
back,
yep,
enjoy the
yep.
movie again.
Yeah.
And it was something that, like, quite honestly, like the first, I would say 10, 12 movies I saw here, I was
Yeah.
like, in mostly AMCs. No one's shooting up idiots. You know what I mean?
Thank
No
God
one's
for
shooting
that.
up idiots.
No
And they
one's shooting up
shouldn't.
idiots,
It's
and
the
they
best
shouldn't.
movie
It's the
theater in
best.
Los Angeles.
Don't put any
and by the
ideas
way-
in anybody's
yeah,
head.
Yeah, exactly. If that were to ever happen, they'd hear from me.
Yeah.
There would be sort of like a shooter on shooter crime. I'd be the Luigi Mangione of the guy who shot up videos.
You find the guy to shoot
I
out
will
idiots.
fucking yes.
And then, but you need a deny, depose, defend, like
yeah, exactly. It'll be like
version of that.
Be
for
kind,
idiots.
rewind. Inscribed on the bullet.
That's incredible.
But yeah, that was a little bit of a thing. Not to say that Canada isn't incredibly violent in its own ways. Like Canada loves to be like,
We're really nice and America's crazy.
and I'm like, no, babe, you know the whole slavery thing that America had? We had a bit of that, and we did that to indigenous people.
Yeah.
We love to call it a quote unquote cultural genocide when in fact it was a genocide.
A cultural genocide.
Yes.
It's different.
Yes, it's crazy. Like, I mean, very specifically, the RCMP and the Canadian government led a charge to steal Indigenous children from their families,
Mhm.
to put them into Catholic schools where they were
Yep.
mentally, physically, sexually, spiritually abused.
Mhm.
There are, to this day, multiple mass graves found outside of these
Yep.
former
And had
church
gender
and school
roles forced
locations.
on them.
Absolutely cut their
Yeah.
hair, like devastating things.
Yeah.
Alongside also actively murdering them.
Yeah.
So it is like, yes, for sure, there was intention behind being like, you're going to become a quote unquote like holy and whatever, and we're going to make you like an upstanding citizen, aka like closer and closer to this whiteness.
Mhm.
For sure there was that, and also there was just straight up actual murder and enslavement going on. So it is sort of like I'm scared in the movie theater, and in Canada it's like, there's all sorts of other horrible shit
There's
going
other
on.
stuff. I mean, yeah, I guess colonialism is evil, so both countries are haunted.
Yeah.
But America does have a particular gun problem.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
That's how old were you when you moved here first?
Like early 20s, I think, like 23 or something. Like that,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay. So still, but you're an adult, so that makes
22.
sense too.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm coming here to this scary land of guns. What's gonna? I mean, I would feel
Yeah.
that way too. Just as gun stuff got worse as I got older, I also would any time at a movie theater be like,
Yeah,
where are the exits?
totally.
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of a wild thing that we all just have to live with all the time, especially like kids
Yeah.
in school.
That's the main one
having
to
to
me.
do
I'm
the
like,
fucking
you're gonna put
drills.
that on a child and a teacher that's being paid like fucking $30,000 a
It's
year.
so fucked
That's
up. All of
nuts.
the least paid professions are having to do the most and deal with the most.
Remember, like
They're-
during the pandemic, the meme of like the guy in like the fucking ice cream cone mascot suit being like, I'm a fucking essential worker. Where it's like, yeah, the essential workers were like the most broke people that they're like, actually, we don't
Yeah.
care if you get this disease. We don't know.
I was an
ultimately
essential
the
worker
impact
too, and
of."
guess what I was doing? Delivering weed.
You know what? That actually is essential. work.
yeah.
And you know what? That was, and you were right to be made to do so. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
Weed delivery driving would deliver to rich people ordering like $500 worth of weed. They'd tip $2.
What?
I'd be like, keep it to your. I'd rather you tip me fucking
Fuck
nothing, you piece
you.
of shit. Yeah, it was
Also, like, I
insane.
know this is so like an eye roll, but fucking weed smoker to weed smoker, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, if you're that rich and you're a guy who smokes that much weed, you gotta you're in fucking weed culture.
Yeah,
Come on,
come
man.
on, insane.
Stoner rights.
Literally.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
You should, if above a certain income bracket, you shouldn't be able to buy weed unless you can prove that you are giving to charitable causes.
That's so. Yeah, that's a good
I
idea.
think you should be you just should have limited access, or you get just like the fucking seeds and stems. Or something like that.
Yeah,
Like, you
I
get
agree
shit.
with you 100%. Rights for weed delivery drivers in America, and the like 3 or 4 cities that were allowed to do that kind
Yeah.
of shit. I'm like, it was like 2 different times I got laid off from jobs. It was into the weed delivery business.
Yes,
Baby.
Way to be.
All around the city. See all types.
Yes, that's
Rich, crazy people in like their mansions going up all the stairs getting them weed, not tipping, of course.
crazy.
And then, yeah, it's like just like anywhere else. The people who are in the brokest areas would be tipping the most.
Absolutely.
Like 100% of the time.
Absolutely, they understand that that's what makes or breaks your fucking wage for the day. You know
Yeah.
what's crazy is in Canada, during the pandemic, they had just started. I think it was just before the pandemic. They like 2020. I'm talking about. They had government like funded weed because the government
Oh.
like controls the circulation of it in Canada, and then it was like weed delivery from the government. So you'd
That's
like
so
be going on like
wild.
weed.ontario.gov, being like fat blunt added to cart, juicy mango nug. I'm like, the government? Okay.
Can we also just talk about like the names of weed
It's
strains?
crazy.
Like, why are
They're
they
like-
always like that?
They're like crystal daiquiri sunset smoothie. I'm like, this smells like pepper.
It smells like
And that's fine.
weed.
And they're
It
like,
all.
Very lemon. I'm like, don't name it like it's an ice cream truck because it's not. And then the art on it is made by a guy who 40 years ago would have been a deadhead. Or he
Yeah.
was like
Oh,
following
yeah.
fish around.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Lots of colors, lots of shiny stuff.
Mhm. Crazy graphics that are usually like on a t-shirt beside Peter Griffin wearing a fedora. And I'm kind of like, oh, hell yeah. You know what? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah,
Let me
brother.
pass this blunt to Stewie. Let me pass this blunt to Brian. Dream blood rotation.
I was literally about to say
Me and the family from Family Guy. Plus Cleveland. I think it is crazy how some, like, I was talking about this with my friend Drew the other day, like, some cartoons, like, are really latched onto by weed culture.
Oh, yeah.
I never was really one to watch Rick and Morty.
Me
but,
neither. I've like seen episodes here and there, but
yeah, and I'm under the impression that to some extent there's some like clever stuff in there, whatever.
Yeah.
But Rick and Morty have been characters that are been completely taken over by weed culture. It's also like, you know, I understand the crossover in some regards. You know, like Homer's like a guy who drinks a bunch and like
Yeah.
eats donuts and whatever. I'm like, yeah, for sure, that's
Yeah.
stoner vibes. But then like the what's it? The like trance music community taking like, you know, Bart Simpson crying and putting that as like the thumbnail for a
Oh my
3-hour
God.
mix on YouTube. I remember seeing this meme once that was like me when I was 14 listening to Pursuit of Happiness by Kid Cudi, and he does the
Oh
groan
my
at the
God.
beginning. It's just like crying Bart. Yeah, dude. I was fucking smoking like the most ditch ass weed. This is pre-government weed. Like
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
literally oregano. Sold to me by some guy who is like, doesn't care if I live or die.
yeah, for sure.
And then listening to Kid Cudi and being like, actually, no one will ever understand me.
Only Kid Cudi.
Yeah, listening to MGMT and being like, I think things are gonna be okay.
What a day. MGMT. My God, that for me is freshman year of college.
Oh, I loved
What a
MGMT. I saw
time.
them live once.
Really?
Yeah, they were good.
Oh, hell yeah.
And let them just keep making music. I want all the weird white boys who are trying to be TikTok famous to get a synthesizer and
Yes.
start putting in the work.
put in the work and so, like some real art. Come on.
We need another
go.
1901 by Phoenix.
Literally.
I
We
still
do.
listen to
We
that.
do. That was such a specific feeling.
Yes, and it was.
It
there's a
really
reason-
was like,
There's a reason why it was used for 400 car commercials. we would literally listen to that like you borrow your parents' car and blast it in the car driving down the road. We were like, I'm never gonna die. I'm gonna live forever.
life is amazing.
Life is amazing. I have a math test tomorrow.
Not a math test.
Yeah.
Boo.
I actually do feel that if as an adult they were like, hey, we have to check in on some of the knowledge you learned in high school every 10 years, I'd be like, in jail. Like they'd be like, oh, you're legally actually not retaining enough information. You're a danger to society. I'm like, I know the words Pythagorean theorem. I know A2 equals B2 plus C2. I'm literally scratching my head. I
This
just
is
realized.
like, I know.
That was the big. That was the most doofus coded shit I could have.
But
I know Pythagorean theorem. Scridge.
But if you can believe, this is the second episode where Pythagorean theorem has
No
been
way.
mentioned. The other one was Tolliver's return to
Yeah.
the podcast. It was Pythagoras. He was like Pythagoras.
Pythagoras.
Pythagorean theorem. Yeah, baby. I was like actually so comforted to hear you say that because for a second on that other episode, I was like, did I make that up? Is that actually what it is?
Yeah,
Am I
think that's
crazy?
what it is.
It
but could I even do that?
No, we
And do
both
I know what
said
it
it.
calculates?
No, absolutely.
Something
not.
about a triangle, maybe.
For sure.
Unclear.
Unclear. I don't remember any of the math that I learned in
No,
school.
I stopped
and
taking math in like the 10th grade. So.
Yeah, I was always in advanced math. Like, so I was
Okay.
really good at it in school. That was like one of my best subjects
Good for you.
somehow. And then I went to like public high school, so they stopped offering anything beyond my junior year because I had like maxed out on all the math classes. But if you put me in a math class today,
That's crazy that you were like they had to put me in this other one because I'd maxed out. I
I'm
took every
so
math class in the
smart.
state.
but it's a Philly public school, so it just went
Still,
to
though.
pre-calc. It's not that high.
No, I
But-
did not. I was as soon as I could stop taking math, I stopped, and I think it's because it was a subject I couldn't bullshit in.
Yeah. Yeah, you
just
can't.
have
You
to
literally
just
can't.
actually know it and do the work and learn
Yeah.
how to do it. And I was like, what if I wrote another essay on Shakespeare?
That would be better. That would be better. Could I somehow make Shakespeare math?
Oh my god. There's gotta be a fucking character named Pythagoras in a
Oh,
Shakespeare play.
absolutely.
He'd have 4 characters to play named like Pythagoras, Pythagorean, Pythagorean, and Pythagorea. He loved to give motherfuckers in
who?
the same cast the exact same goddamn name. I'm like, bitch, You are talking to people who don't know how to read. You have to make it clear. I say to the most renowned playwright in the world.
So
I'm like,
funny.
idiot.
But then I mean, hey, speak on it. Hamnet, when that came movie, I mean, I did see it, great film, but I was also
moved
like,
me immensely.
I was like, yeah, oh my God.
Yeah.
So what Chloe
Jessie
Zhao,
Buckley.
oh my God, she's incredible.
That's
Chloe
who I got
Zhao
to
is an
email after
amazing
fucking
director.
Lauren.
Did
Jessie
you
Buckley.
see Nomadland?
Oh my God, I
Her
didn't,
other
but I
film?
love
It's
Frances McDormand.
So
Yeah, Chloe
good.
Zhao.
Chloe Zhao, incredible director. Really, like, just such, and all of like the nature motifs too in
Yeah.
that film, and just
When she was like, I need to get to the tree.
exactly.
To the tree.
And then when they held her back, I'm like, no, let her go to the woods.
Yeah.
You know, like let her be part.
I'm like, her kid's gonna die now because you didn't let her fucking get birth in that tree.
No, literally,
Idiot.
you fucking idiot. You cursed her.
Yeah.
How dare you?
How dare you? She's a witch for real.
But she is a witch for
yeah,
real.
she's a witch for
But
real.
I was also like, Hamlet, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Why do we got a different one letter different, but apparently interchangeable? I don't know.
Yeah.
Old English, interesting.
It is also, it reminds me of how there are some names that have nicknames that you're like, what?
Yeah.
First of all, Richard and Dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Classic, what are we doing there? Classic,
Yeah.
you just wanted to say Dick.
Yes,
You
exactly.
know?
Did you see that movie Dick about Richard Nixon?
No.
There's a movie from the 90s called or early 2000s
Oh.
called Dick with Kirsten Dunst and
Yes.
Michelle Williams. Honestly, great movie.
You know what? I think there's a chance I know a guy who's in that movie.
Really?
I can't remember if it's that movie or not, but it was like a guy who was a comedian, funny guy, but like friend of my dad's who at the end
Oh.
plays like a cop who comes in and is, like,
Probably.
shakes his finger.
You
Um,
get out of there.
But
That's
no,
true.
in fact, I know so little about U.S. history that is, I think, the sole reason why I haven't applied to be on Jeopardy, even though I love it and I'm good at trivia.
I love I mean, I don't. Whatever U.S. history is all. Whatever we are taught is all a lie anyway.
I
so.
guess that's true, but I
yeah.
should know some stuff.
Sure.
Like I feel
I mean,
objectively.
I don't know Canadian
stupid.
history.
Nobody does
So,
though. That's not an expectation.
Yeah, but also fuck America. There shouldn't be an expectation for us either, unless you want to. I mean, but you are one of the people trying to fight this bullshit. So maybe for that reason.
Yeah, I
but
should know.
maybe
that.
that. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, fuck this. Literally, it's so wild to like our education system. I'm so lucky. I had one teacher in high school named Dr. J.
Whoa.
He was a fucking real one.
Dr. J.
Dr. J was
Sounds like he's about to drop the sickest remix of all
I
time.
know, and it's so funny because he's just was like an old white bald guy like who looked like a turtle, straight
Whoa.
up. But Dr. J,
Dr. Jurdle.
He would like teach us the curriculum and what was because he had to and what was in the books, and he's like, so that's what they teach you, but the real history, and he would like get into it
Okay,
and then
love
talk
Miss
about
Grokey vibes.
yeah, and I was like, okay, oh, hey buddy. I was like, okay. And then that was like my first introduction to things are not quite as they seem here.
Yeah,
You know?
totally. It is crazy to me, like, what I've retained of American history, because I feel like, I would have to seek it out mostly on my own if I wanted to know about it. But it's like the stuff that's come across my desk, as it were, like knowing that Joe Biden has a connection to a guy named Corn Pop. I'm like, I couldn't tell you if you were like, who was the president 5 presidents ago? I'd be like, couldn't say with certainty, but I am like Joe Robinette Biden. I know his
Robinette?
I know his middle name.
Not Robinette.
Did you
is
know
that?
that?
No, I did not.
That's real.
Here's the thing. I don't know that I would confidently know 5 presidents ago either. Anything before, I mean, I know like the one before I was born, and that's about
Trump,
it.
Biden, Trump, Obama,
Trump, Biden, Trump, Obama,
Clinton, Bush Jr.,
but George W.
George W.
Before that, Clinton.
Clinton.
Before that, George Sr.
George Sr.
Before that, Reagan.
Whoa. Before that,
Don't know before that.
Nick.
Couldn't tell you. They're all a jumbled mess in my brain after that.
For sure.
And I'm not even confident I'm right about Reagan right before Bush. So like, who knows?
I mean, it does make me feel better.
or
that
if
we're
they
on
were
the
like
same
flip
page
flopped.
there.
Yeah. And you know what? Fuck them all. They're all evil. So who cares? They're all evil rapists, and they should all die if they're not dead already.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy? I mean, I know that I know that we all talk about it. There's actually nothing new to say about it, and I know that there's such a deluge of horrible shit in the American government that it really gets swept up in there. But isn't it crazy that our president is a pedophile?
Yeah.
And he hung out with a bunch of pedophiles.
Yeah.
And there was a whole thing a couple years ago of Pizzagate of we're gonna get down to the bottom of these. And I'm like,
And they were like Hillary Clinton's emails.
yeah, and they're like, there's documents the government's putting out that saying our president is a pedophile.
Yeah.
Anyways, just thought that we should all take one minute.
One moment to
just
actually sit with
say
that and be like, what should we do now?
Yeah.
Because we're all not doing anything.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me feel crazy every day I go to work and I'm like, how does this happen? How are we acting like everything's normal?
For sure.
I feel crazy.
For sure.
But sure, the metrics and the growth and the blah, 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 that matters more than anything.
Oh my God,
for
the
sure.
metrics.
Yeah, we need to think about the metrics.
And it is really like, and I'm not saying anything new. And there's nothing new to be said. When your president is a pedophile, I'll get with a bunch of pedophiles on pedophile island.
On pedophile island.
Pedophile island?
On a whole pedophile island.
Come
Come on.
Pedophile
This is like,
island.
it's like all the worst things are true. And we're all just like, and there's more out there.
And they're like,
crazy.
hey, so pedophile island, killing people, probably eating people. I'm like, whoa. Like I do. Yeah. There's again, I'm not saying one clever thing. I'm not saying one new thing, but I am in need of acknowledgement, and we've done it.
Yeah, and we've done it. And have you seen the stuff online about how they're putting all this stuff out on purpose and they're trying to harvest our energy? And I'm like, what's happening?
Wait, what?
I'm getting
Who's
a
trying
lot
to
of
harvest my energy.
the government of the whole world.
The government of the whole world is trying to harvest my
all
energy
all the
by
pedophiles.
putting the pedophiles are sort of vampirically taking my energy, just being generated by
us being outraged by their pedophilia. Yeah.
Oh, so they're like, hey guys, they're pedophiles, but to an end.
Yeah.
They did that stuff, but it was just to take your energy. They didn't like fucking all those
I was on
kids.
TikTok the other day and I went, how? Because a lot of times my algorithm will be like, okay, dance video or like political hot take that is based in reality or like whatever. And then I'll get something that they're like, what about this?
They're like, could you maybe go down this route?
And they're like, what about this? And then it's someone who's like, and it's because we're a slave planet where they're harvesting our energy for the aliens. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, hey, listen,
you look up one fucking chia pudding recipe.
I'm like, okay, so I'm not gonna rule out anything at this point because who fucking knows what's out there in space. Sure, I believe aliens are real. Absolutely.
Artemis 2 was a mission
But
meant
she's
to
like,
send a big syringe to the moon on the dark side so we can't see it. And that syringe takes all our pedophile anger and transports it into Trump's life force so we can keep shitting in diapers for 40 more years.
Yes, exactly.
That seems probable to me.
Oh, good. Now there's a car alarm going off.
Yes, that's them trying to silence us. They said they know about the syringe.
They said they heard
Kick
about
off
it.
the car alarm.
They're telling everybody about the aliens that we're harvesting the energy for, and it's literally this girl that comes up across mine. She goes, and she's like, and aliens are real, and they're here, and they've been here. and we're a slave planet, then they're harvesting our energy.
This is a white person, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
of course.
For sure.
Of course.
Love the white person use of AAVE to shame you about not knowing that aliens are already here. They've been here. Great.
And they've been walking amongst us.
Perfect intersection. That's the Venn diagram of shit that's gonna make me put a fucking gun in my mouth.
Yeah. Like, and they've been here, and they're walking amongst us, and you probably met one already.
Don't make the relationship between aliens and trans people like that. The argument for being trans in a bathroom is like, you've definitely been in the bathroom, the trans person doesn't matter. This person's like, now that logic could really work.
You've probably already met an alien. You probably even shared a bathroom with them. Don't be afraid.
Always keep your eyes peeled.
I love that they're like, hey guys, we should really check the bathrooms for trans people. By the way, we did put out a bunch of documents about the president fucking kids. But don't worry about him.
Yeah,
in
but
fact,
don't worry about him.
Bring your schools to the White House for a tour. Yes, feed the pedophile president to school buses and school buses and children. And go up all the bathrooms that a trans person has ever touched. Feed the hungry pedophile president. Yum, yum, yum.
Yum, yum, yum. Oh, God.
Really
It's like-
freaky. Oh, again, here comes the alarm. They said, oh no, they know
said
about
they-
our children pedophile cafeteria program. They know that the Cisco truck bringing all the children in to feed the pedophile president.
I'm gonna lose it.
I'm gonna be shot at the border with this podcast coming out. I'm gonna try and go back to Canada, and they're gonna take me to a room, and they're gonna be like, "Hey," and they're gonna play the whole episode of this podcast, and then they're gonna look at me like, "Huh?" and I'm gonna be like, "Yeah." And then 40 guns are gonna come out of previously hidden holes in the wall and riddle my body with bullets.
We're both under arrest, never to be. Hey,
Yeah.
so if we disappear after this podcast, we are not suicidal. I
We
am
are
not
not.
making any threats on my own life. I am happy, and I am hosting a podcast that's doing better every episode.
I'm hosting a podcast on trauma, and I'm not trying to
And
kill
I'm
myself.
literally fine. That's why we're here. Okay. I have to ask you another
Okay,
question.
yeah.
Okay, can you think of something that felt traumatic at the time you were going through it, but now you are able to look back and laugh at it? And maybe how did you get to a place where you could laugh about it?
Yeah. I mean, the first binder I ever bought, like to compress when I had boobs, arrived at my house the same day as my dad's death certificate.
Oh my god!
And I was a little like, well, now I have to write a play about this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when at the time, obviously, there's so much, it's a mix of things where it's like, oh, I thought I was more fine than I was, and I definitely wasn't. And things where it was like I was not fine, and then later I'm like, that was actually pretty funny. Like when my dad died very suddenly, and my sisters came to tell me, and then we got in the car, which was this Jeep that my dad's brother had given him. It was like this very old Jeep, not very old, it's like from the 90s, but a Jeep Cherokee. Old in that it was at least 20 years from the time that it was in its prime, and for that reason, it was like a rickety kind of thing. And my sister, usually he had passed away like in rural Canada. My family has a cottage. It was like a hunting shack in the woods that like slowly got turned into a cottage over time. It's like this very sweet little tilted wooden structure. Anyways, all this to say,
Obsessed.
he passed up there, and so he was at his body was at a hospital there, and they were basically like, we can only hold his body for so long, so come so you can say goodbye. And usually the drive up there is like 2 hours or 140 with no traffic, but usually longer. My sister got up there, I think, in like 50 minutes. She was gunning it in that car. But we got in the car. My sisters came to tell me what happened very early in the morning. I like packed a bag very quickly because we didn't know how long we would be up there. We got in the car. My sister started driving, and we're all just like in shock because it had just happened. We had just all found out like hours earlier, and then we were all had to pee, but we were like on the back roads, and we were like, we can't make it to the hospital. We have to pee so bad and whatever. So we like stopped the car on the side of the road, and like all in full tears hobbled into the forest and pulled our pants down, just pissing in the forest, being like kind of laughing, fully crying, being like, this is insane. So like when I'm like, that was so sad when it was happening, and it's so funny in hindsight. Or like I was the one who wrote my dad's obituary and sent the information in, and they sent a draft back, and my dad's name was Cary, Cary, like Cary Grant, and they called him Corey, and I was like, his name's not Corey. Like, I pissed me off.
It's Cary.
Yeah, I was like, it's Cary, it's not Corey. And then also him and my dad was Jewish, and his two best friends, also these Jewish guys, and when they would once a year, because they both lived in the States, and my dad lived in Canada, once a year, and then later on in life, once every couple of years, they would go on a trip to like Vegas together, or like, do a road trip or whatever, and they always called it the Jew boy trips. That's just what they called it. And in the obituary, we were like, Cary loved his blah, 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 then it's like, and of course his Jew boy trips. And they emailed back being like, hey, so that's a slur.
We can't say that.
And we were like, it's not. You can say the word Jewish. You can say the word Jew. And they're like, we can't. And I was like, you can. They're like, we won't.
Like,
and I was like,
giving you permission. To
yeah,
do it.
yeah. I'm like, it's fine. Because it was in the newspaper. And so at the time, obviously, I'm like crying, like punching my keyboard, sending this in. And now I'm like, baby, they can't put Jew boy in the newspaper.
And that actually makes sense.
They can't put Jew boy in the
can't just-
newspaper. Because
He
imagine if
loved
they
his-
do it for you. Who else they might do it
He
for?
loved his Jew boy trips.
Yes.
And
They're like, what?
"Wait."
And I'm like, this fucking
No.
goy ass newspaper. Fucking Jew boy trip. But yeah, stuff like that. I
That's
feel like
amazing.
everything around a parent dying, at least for me, like there's a mixture of like the most bleak, upsetting shit that like will change you.
Yes.
Will change you.
Yes.
And actually the funniest stuff of all time.
100%. There's also kind of nothing like, I don't know, like the week someone has died and those days like following. It's like truly the worst of worst feelings on earth, but then also usually people were rallying and all the loved ones and the family coming together and stuff. So then it's also like, hey, a lot of my favorite people are here. We're having some fun. And they're telling funny stories about my dad. And then I'm remembering
And
that
you're
he's
like,
dead.
and
And
why
now
are
I'm
they
sad
doing that?
again.
Because he's dead.
And this is going to be our Return to the Dead Dad Club corner
Yeah.
of the podcast. Here we are.
You can't have a podcast about trauma bond and have two people with
No.
dead dads on and act like that's not going to be
Simply
the fucking.
have to
That's
talk
going to
about
be
it.
the entree du
Yes.
jour.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember, and I was only like, I was a kid when my dad died. So I just had all these like confusing like feelings in my
Totally.
head. But I just remember my dad was also so much older. So like all of his side of the family were just old people and like their
Whoa.
friends were all old. And
Yeah.
my Aunt Sally, his sister, had like this friend, Frank, who wasn't her boyfriend. But he was
Okay,
always
damn.
with her and he was always driving her around everywhere.
Okay.
And he would just sit in the corner and just say like, he'd just sit there and he would be quiet, but then he'd be like, today is tomorrow's yesterday. And
Whoa.
like, me as a 9-year-old was
Whoa.
like, what the
I love that shit. I love when an
Yeah.
adult has the sensibility of like when you're 13 and smoke weed for the first time. I'm like,
Literally.
life must be awesome to you.
I'm like, you grew up in the Great Depression, but you're really hitting with these right now. Smoking weed for the first time at 80.
Whoa.
Insane.
Yeah, it is all that like that first like week. Well, I mean, the first 10 years, the first year, or rather the first week,
Yeah.
the first month, the
Yeah.
first year, the first rest of your life
Yeah,
after
yeah,
your
yeah.
parent dies. You're like,
Yeah.
what? But
Yeah.
that first chunk of time, you're like, it is crazy how divorced from the passage of time you become.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
Like, especially because obviously time is a human construct.
Mm-hmm.
That's not tinfoil hat. That's physics.
Mm-hmm.
Time is a human construct. And how, fastidious we are about like adhering to it
Yeah.
kind of fluctuates, I think, in different moments of your life. But specifically
Totally.
when a parent dies and suddenly the veil between being alive and being dead, you're pressed up against it. It's this thin. And you're
Mhm.
just like, every moment takes hours and every day feels like an eternity. And
Yep.
also when you look back, there's just like massive gaps in your memory and you're like, it
Yes.
happened like that almost.
100.
It's
That's
crazy.
the weirdest thing is sorting through the like I don't fucking remember
Yeah.
stuff. Like all the memory gaps. It's like I don't know. Yeah, I mean trauma does fucked up shit to your brain.
Yeah.
So then I'd be like, did that happen? When did that happen? What was it?
Yeah. It's also, it's interesting. I feel like the way that I was describing it is when it happened is I felt very much like after my dad died, like a hole was blown through my chest, but like all my cynicism went with it. Like I actually had no room for anger or like to hold grudges or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like there are people who I had like been holding on to wrongs from years ago that I don't even talk to, that I was just like, I just hope they're okay and I hope they're doing
Yeah.
well and everyone's on their own journey and whatever, because I was just like, I am so frail. I can't hold negativity towards anybody
Yeah.
right now. All I can do
Yeah.
is like hope to float forward.
Yeah. And it also because it really just puts things into perspective too. You're like, whoa, it could really all go away in a second.
Yeah.
And if I barely even remember what I was mad about, or like if it's
Totally.
something that was like that we could actually just work through, or like, it's just
Totally.
it's wild. You're like, what was it even? Fuck it.
I know. I remember talking to a friend who had a pretty bad cancer scare and was in treatment for like, I think at least a year, maybe 2 years. And at a point had to have a surgery where it was like, hey, this isn't even 50-50. This is like, there's a chance you don't wake up from this surgery, but you are most certainly going to die if you don't have
scary.
it. And I would talk to them sometimes and they were like, this is now they survived.
Thank
They're healthy. They're
God.
in remission. All of these things. I would
Oh,
not be telling
good.
this story so
Yeah.
casually if not.
Yeah.
And I remember them saying like, I don't miss being sick, but I sometimes miss the person I was when I was sick, because I feel like I just I was better to other people than
Right,
to
because
myself.
you're like realizing life is precious. All our days are numbered. Like, who knows how
Yeah,
much time I have left? It might be very little,
totally.
and then things just don't matter as much.
Yeah, it's wild. Grief is crazy. Grief
Grief
is really
really be hitting.
yeah, it really I really do feel like my life is divided between before my dad died and after my dad died. And like
Yeah.
some other crazy shit has happened to me in my life, but like that is really like there's and I would say like anyone who like had a parental type relationship with like a grandparent, that can be true of, but I'm like
Yeah,
it's not the same as if just, average loving grandparent dies or like
totally.
whatever. Like I think of people who lost like a sibling
Yeah.
young. I'm like I actually don't understand how you survived
No,
that.
truly, it's like truly one of the most horrendous things I can think
Yeah.
of is to lose a sibling, and especially as a kid. I don't know, and not even especially because it's like
It's always fucked
it's
up, but I
always
do
fucked up, but it's like
yeah, well, you saying that you lost your dad when you were a kid, like I lost my dad when I was 25. And it is also crazy because like I grew up with both of my sets of grandparents.
Mhm.
Like my grandma, my dad's mom only died last year.
Yeah,
That I'm like my parents had their parents into their 30s, into their
yeah,
40s. That I'm like, right. I mean, if I live as long as I hope I'm gonna live, I'm gonna have more years without my dad than with him,
yeah.
which
That's
is
the trippiest
bleak
thing.
as fuck.
It's so bleak. When I hit, it was like January of 2024. It was the 25th anniversary of my dad dying, and it was like it hit so hard of this way. Like, I mean, at that point, I had already been past the point of like it's been longer without him than with him.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't have taken much to get there. Like as soon as I was 18, it was like
Right,
that.
right.
But like it hit in this like, oh my god, like there is a certain grief to just that alone. Like there's the grief of the death itself, and then there's the grief of like, whoa, like all of the I have lived more of my life without this person than with them, and like how would they feel about me as an adult?
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't, it's weird that like my parent does, who's half of the reason I exist, doesn't know who I am or what I'm like or what I like. It's just,
Totally.
and then all because I have also like my dad had a first marriage with a first set of kids, so I have a bunch of half siblings who are much older than me and old enough to be my parents. And then there's also that like resentment of like, well, they got to have him into their 30s
Yeah.
and to like he got to see them all get married, and like
It is crazy those
it's-
moments of like really shocking like jealousy that come up. I find that I have that around people doing father-daughter dances at
yes,
weddings.
that it hits me every time,
Which is crazy because I'm not even
Yes.
dating somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm not a daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yet.
And yet it's
and yet.
still
Yeah, like I'm like, whoa, happy for you and also
devastated for
pissed.
me. Yeah. Pissed off, devastated.
The-
Father-daughter dances are
Yeah, that's a point of contention. I think also like I have a couple just having, I think I was out as non-binary before my dad died, but I started like socially with my friends, but I started like actually transitioning post my dad dying.
Yeah.
And there's a little part of me of like that's sad that like he didn't get to know that
Yeah.
version. But also I find as time passes I'm falling into more interests that he liked. Like he loved
Oh.
movies.
Yeah.
Like one of his favorite things to do was go to the movies. He loved movie theater popcorn. He was one of those guys during the pandemic who was like fucking door dashing movie theater popcorn to the house, which
oh
is
my
crazy.
God, that's
like
so funny.
that as I, got further into the industry, it was like wild to I remember during the pandemic I was watching a bunch of movies that I'd never seen before, and I watched Tampopo, the ramen western. Have you ever
I've
heard of
never
this?
seen it.
Oh, it's great.
No. Oh my goodness.
And it's like a kind of odd, incredibly funny, great, beautiful looking, insane movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it, and he sent me a message saying, "Oh, I saw this at this theater in the beaches in Toronto, and when it first came out, da da da." And it's like not a super well known movie. My dad was not like a super cool indie dude, but he loved
Yeah.
movies, so just went to see a bunch of them, and for
Yeah.
that reason,
He
I
would
think
just see
saw a bunch
stuff.
of cool
Yeah.
stuff. And we talked about it a little bit, and I was like, now being someone who writes movies and watches a lot of movies, I like feel a resentment that I didn't get to connect to him like as an
Yeah.
adult.
To share that with him.
Yeah, it's also insane. Like my brother got married last summer. I have 3 older siblings. My brother got married last summer. He loved his kids. Like, he was a good dad.
Yeah.
He had his flaws. I refuse to like martyr him after his death,
Well,
but
of
he really
course.
loved his kids.
Human.
He really wanted a family.
Mhm.
He won't get to go to, if all of us get married, any of his kids' weddings.
Yeah.
You know? It's shit
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it's really fucking hard. It's so hard sitting with that shit. It's because, and it also just feels so fucking unfair.
Yeah.
You're like, why the fuck do I have to be the one to not have the dad at the fucking wedding?
Yeah.
Weddings are a big like
Yeah.
trigger for me in general, as much as I also find them fun. They are it's a lot of reminders of like things I don't have in
Yeah.
terms of like family stuff. And
Totally.
yeah, father-daughter dances it's like a one-way ticket to Cry Town for me
Yep.
with a father-daughter dance.
Yeah.
Even though I also like have complicated feelings just about the institution of marriage and like
100%.
the ownership stuff and the father passing the daughter to the whomever. It's
Million
like,
billion.
I'm like, fuck all that. And also father-daughter dance.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
yeah,
It's also, I feel
just-
like, you know, usually dances at weddings, like when you see people do like a whole choreographed dance that they like planned with their partner before, like their parent or whatever. I'm like, that's usually reserved for people who aren't in show business. Who
Yeah,
that's they
yeah.
get to do their little talent show
Yep.
because our whole lives are a fucking little talent show.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the whole thing, that it's like, who cares? Who cares the father-daughter dance? And yet I find myself there crying my fucking eyes out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
rough stuff
Tough.
there. Oh my God, there was at my 8th grade graduation, we had a thing called the dinner dance as like
Ooh.
part of graduation week. And the dinner dance was like we all got dressed up fancy, went to like a country club and had a nice dinner, and also we were dancing.
Yeah.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Cute.
But there was a father-daughter dance portion of the night, and my dad had been long dead by that point, and they made me dance with the assistant principal. Mr.
That's abuse.
It was awful.
That's
And also because
crazy.
everybody also like hated that guy. His name was Mr. Aspen. He is no longer,
Aspen.
yeah, he's no longer with us. Rest in peace.
Whoa.
But it was like I remember sitting at the table and I was just kind of like really ready to sit there while everybody else did the
Yeah,
thing.
you were
And I
like,
was
I know this is what's coming.
I was
and
like, I
I'm
know
not
this is
gonna do it."
coming. I'm gonna have my little snack, and I'm fine. And then I get a tap on the shoulder. I
Milady.
get a tap on the shoulder. Turn around. Mr. Aspen is like, and I'm like, I guess I have to. And so like,
They're
I
like,
did it. out of-
this grief-stricken child.
yeah.
We should humiliate her.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You know what?
Her
You know what
fucking-
stings worse than grief and might be a good distraction? The embarrassment of the entire school watching you
Exactly.
dance with an assistant principal who
The
sucks
last-
ass.
This last thing they will remember me by dancing with Mr. Aspen. And there's a photo of me from that where I'm just like you can tell my smile is like, I wish I wasn't doing
No.
this. Like, why would you put me through that? The dead dad was
That's
enough. I didn't have to also dance
horrible.
with Mr. Aspen.
I also am like, hey, don't assume that this would ever come any. It's not that I'm like, oh, I wish I got a turn to dance. I wish someone would ask me. It's like I'm reflecting on the brief period we are here on this floral coil, and our connections to our family and beyond. Tap tap tap. Ghoul from hell. Ghoul from a bog.
Come dance with me.
Hate you.
And I'm 14. Like the worst age.
I don't want a man that isn't related to me
No.
touching me, nor most of those men either.
At all. Like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
I also hated that school because it was a Catholic school and I was like dying to get out by the end. I was
Yeah.
about to go to my performing arts high school. I
Woo,
was like,
you're getting
"Get
the
me outta
fuck
here."
out of
I was like,
here.
Get me the fuck out of here. And then I had to suffer one last
One last
embarrassment.
Fucking hell. Yeah, I think
God.
I would be arson mode
Yeah.
after that if that happened to me.
I was like, Mom, why would you not have fought against this? I would have rather danced with my mother during the father-daughter
Yeah, of
dance.
course.
Like, what the fuck? Okay. Is there a time you look? I mean, this is also related, so whatever. But a time you look back on your behavior and you thought you were being normal, but like you're like, oh wow, no, I was really going through it.
Yeah. Back to the day my dad died.
Yeah.
Awesome world to mentally be in.
Yeah, sorry.
When we got to the hospital to say goodbye to my dad's body, my first instinct was to go up to his literal corpse and stage whisper into his ear, "Don't worry, I won't tell them I was your favorite." Did get a huge laugh. And the crowd went wild. And when I think back on that, I'm like, I whispered into my dad's dead body. I touched my dad's dead body and I did a bit with it.
And you were
I guess I saw an
you were
opportunity.
trying to, you were doing a bit. You were trying to lighten the mood for your family. all devastated.
They loved it. They loved it. I was making jokes all the drive up in the car, being like, I don't even remember what they were, but I remember being like, this is crazy, and then being like,
Yeah.
and like sobbing, and then being like, I'm sorry, I just don't really know what to do. And my sister's in the car being like, it's fine, we're all feeling fucking crazy, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like literally the most like panicked, haggard, whatever. Yeah, that was pretty wild.
Yeah, some of the funniest I've ever been has been when I've been in the most distressing, traumatic
You're like,
situations. For
you're
sure.
like, I have literally nothing left to lose.
I'm like, when I had a family member go missing for a moment, and during that time when we still didn't know where they were, I was like cracking jokes nonstop, and everyone was like, Theresa. I was like, I'm fine.
You know what? I do feel like I need to get a little bit of a handle on the fact that not everyone has the same like dead dad. There are other people, dead parents, who don't have the same kind of like loose relationship with it. Like there was this the other day, there was this person who, I can't even remember the situation. Like someone was like rude or something like that, and they were like, oh, sorry, like I just have a lot going on. And then to a friend who I had told the situation to, they were like, oh, like I don't know, like I think they had to like take care of a sick relative or something, but they passed away a while ago. I'm like, well, she couldn't have died twice. Why is acting like such a cunt?
Oh my god.
Then I was like, that's actually not cool. Like, you know when you say something comes out of your mouth and then you're like, yeah, whatever feedback I get from this that's negative, I actually do deserve.
I really deserve that. I wish
I'm
I had
not
thought
perfect.
that through.
Yeah, I'm not perfect. I am not perfect.
Sorry, folks.
I do feel like gallows humor has always been funny to me, and then I think post my dad dying, it's only become more severe.
Yeah, it'll do that to you for sure.
And I'm not like, welcome to my dark and twisted mind, you know? I don't think I'm like special because of it, but I am like, that's stuff where I feel like sometimes I'll make a joke and people will be like, oh, and I'm like, no,
but that's kind of my favorite. Is like, that's what my favorite reaction in stand up is, when I'll sell a joke that's like so dark that people are like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, yes, I've done it.
Give it to me.
In the veins. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know,
For sure.
And I'm like,
Yeah, it's dark up in there. Sorry, guys.
There was a
long time.
one of the I took a break from stand up like for a couple years, like I don't know, this is like 2 years ago now.
yeah.
And the last show I did just before then was a show at junior high, and I was doing this bit where I would say a joke, and when it wouldn't do well, I'd put the microphone in my head and go, they didn't like that one. Which I think 70% of the audience was like, that's funny. And the other 30% was like,
They're having a mental breakdown.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is to say I wasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always a little bit of a line. You're like up there performing, and it does get to the kind of like desperate make them laugh energy at points.
Like,
but that's honestly so funny to me.
I need this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually worse if you don't.
Holding them hostage fully.
Do you have anything you would consider to be your weirdest coping mechanism, or a favorite coping mechanism that you have when you're going through it?
Coping mechanisms.
Hmm.
Okay. I actually didn't think okay, so this is not something I do often, but I remember there was a time in university where I found out a guy that I was seeing was like cheating on me, and the way to exercise that anxious energy was to go to my dorm room blast, which had just come out. I Don't Care, Icona Pop, Charlie XCX in my headphones, and cry viciously while air drumming. And I on loop. I got this feeling, I don't know what I do. Why did that? Never done that before in my life.
That's
I never done it since.
No, but I love that.
And I was just like, I just need to sort of get the energy out. Which that was crazy. Maybe I should bring that back.
I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, saying, I don't care. I love it.
I
was cheated on.
I love it.
I love this. I love this. Actually, fucking, that's why they used to put trans people into the insane asylum. Like, which, you know, Never say never. We're getting real hashtag TBT with the government these days. Fucking
I know.
voters' rights. They're like,
Hashtag TBT. That's so funny.
So
They're like, remember when it was like this? Let's go back.
yeah.
Let's go
You know
back.
what's
Maybe just
crazy?
for a little bit.
Is that, and this is not an original thought, but it is crazy to me that I'm like, for Republicans, I'm like, so once you do all the stuff that you want to do, like, you know, nobody's allowed to have an abortion, we like put trans people in front of a firing squad, every race other than like white people born in a very specific margin of people has been expelled from this country, then what do you want? And you know what they describe? Socialism.
Yeah, literally.
They're like, and then we'll have free healthcare. And I'm like, so you're like, I want that. I just don't want everyone to have
exactly.
it.
That is somebody made that point. I can't remember who it was, but they were like, it's just racism. They're just like, they would do it if there weren't non-white people around, or like if there weren't non-straight cis white people around, they'd be like, yeah, now everybody can have everything fine.
Yeah.
But also part of that would be because they want to enslave us all.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and listen, apparently they're already doing that with our energy. From
yeah,
the big syringe.
yeah, for the aliens.
For the alien.
The aliens that are among us.
The alien.
Is it you?
Is it you? Could be you.
Could be me. You? Is it me?
Yeah, I feel like coping mechanism wise, a lot of mine are really normal. Like, I love cooking and baking, and I do feel like that's
you're so good at it.
Oh, stop.
Oh,
Thanks.
it's true.
That, and then I do also find like, okay, so when I was like young and just starting out in comedy, you know that insane thing you do when you're first starting out in comedy where like a show doesn't go well and you're like, stupid. You're like fucking punching yourself in the dick and you're like, whoa, like, yeah, and you're like, okay, that's crazy, relax. Yeah, that to keep like, I feel like that's not really my vibe anymore, but on the odd occasion that bizarre behavior pops up, taking a long walk, like instead of being like a friend driving me home or taking a car or the bus or whatever, I'll just be like, it's a 45-minute walk home, let me just walk it out.
And that's healthy.
Yeah,
that's good.
Decent coping mechanism.
Honestly, I think that more people need to just walk it out.
Yeah,
we're not encouraged to move as much as we should, and a nice walk is sometimes just with the dog.
It's really great.
I need that too. If I'm feeling so insane, like sometimes it's the only thing.
Yes. Well, I do feel like the times we're encouraged to move is they're like,
hey, you're ugly.
Yes.
And you're disgusting, gross pig that eats from a trough.
Exactly.
So we need to be sort of dealing with that element of this.
Instead of being like, hey, you know what's actually really good is that for most of human existence, we were outside a lot of the time.
And we were walking most of the time.
Around a lot.
We were just walking, exploring, figuring out what berries were poison.
Yeah. So let's sort of return to that. You know, go touch grass. I know it's like a fucking twee, whatever,
no, but
it's rooted in.
So true.
Yeah. What's that again? I feel ancient because I'm like, I saw this meme and I've done that 100 times. But even a trace of the original exists in the iteration, and it's like the chicken nuggets shaped like dinosaurs or something like that. It's like that joke that I feel that is true of Go Touch Grass, where it's like it's this twee goofy thing to say, and also it is like
the answer.
Unfortunately,
it really is.
It really does suck that you're like, no, when I'm consistent with habits that serve me, I feel good.
I know.
No. Why can't it be smoke a ton of weed, watch movies until 4 a.m. And
then whenever I do that, I'm like, ugh.
I know.
That seemed like a good idea. And sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah. But then it's like, oh no, I've been doing this all day. And
I know.
My brain feels bad.
Yeah, and I don't feel good anymore.
Don't feel good.
Yeah, like I do feel like there have been times in my life where I've tried to just a little treat my way out of a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And then
just
you get just a little treat. And then you just a little treat yourself so much that there becomes no more little treats to be had. And then you're like, uh-oh, no coping mechanism. Now I feel like shit and I'm broke.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh.
It is crazy how I watched this video about like we live in a society of like of consumption without creation, of like, you know, often we'll intake a lot and we'll save a lot with the or with the intention of doing something with it later, but that it is it is insane that the purpose, like humans get validation from doing things.
Yeah.
So you actually do have to complete the cycle of finishing something
Yeah.
to whatever extent that means for you. It doesn't have to be good. It's just the idea of like, last year was a very difficult year for me, particularly creatively, and I was having so much trouble making things that this year I was like, I am making as much as I can,
Yeah.
like come hell or high water. And so far I've been really happy with all the things I've made, which is cool.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But I feel like even the things that don't turn out exactly the way I want, I still feel like this is one more thing that I made last year.
Yeah.
And it feels satisfying
it feels
enough.
really good to make stuff.
Yeah.
It really does. Because I was in a bit of a rut for a while too.
Mhm.
And I'd been thinking about the podcast and I've been working on it, but was still like too afraid to get it like actually
Totally.
out there. And then once I started, I was like, wait, no, even if it was just for me and nobody was listening, it still just feels good to
Yeah.
do. I'm like having a good time. I'm talking to people that I really enjoy talking to. I'm learning things.
Mhm.
Like I'm testing out new skills. I'm like, it
Totally.
keeps me occupied. I'm having fun with it.
Yeah.
It actually is like, and I'm like, I don't watch as much stuff anymore. I'm not consuming as much anymore.
Totally.
Which also feels good.
Absolutely. I feel
But
like
also I need the balance. I'm like, I do actually like movies. I want to watch them
yes,
sometimes.
yes.
But working in the industry kind of fucks it up sometimes.
I think so too. I think it's about like the more you're creating, the less you have time to consume, and then
Yeah.
consuming becomes a fun thing that you do rather
Mhm.
than like a mode of creativity, because tending to your creative hygiene is, I think, integral to anybody, but
Yeah.
specifically to people who have put arts at the center of their life. That, I think we've been fed, especially, living in LA, I think makes it particularly difficult, but we've been fed this kind of narrative of external achievement is the way to signal to other people that you're a real artist. And
Yeah.
it's hard not to feel that way in a capitalistic society, in an industry where studios are cannibalizing each other. It's very easy
Yeah.
to feel like I need to put things on a resume or stuff on Instagram or TikTok to show that like I am doing important things. And it's
Yeah.
that picture from Arrested Development of the Magic Guild, we demand to be taken seriously,
Yeah.
versus when you actually go and make something,
Yeah.
all of the way, like I think anyways, many of the ways that people are perceiving the stuff that I'm putting out becomes far less important to me
Yeah.
than actually getting to make things.
Exactly.
And I keep trying to remind myself, like, I there's the stories of like prima ballerinas who at the height of their career, that's when they had the most nerves, because there's so much pressure, because they're now seen as this like incredible artist with
Yeah.
this incredible ability. Not that I'm anywhere near that level, just to be clear, but I think the closer and closer you get to what would be considered like mainstream success, or the more work you get that's considered professional success, I think the easier it is to judge yourself more harshly. And the reality is like, we've never had more eyes on the stuff we're trying to make. Like,
Yeah.
and I think we were told that there were these avenues to do it with like decent money to put into this, whereas previously creatives got to make things like not that it was easy, to be clear,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you made things on an indie circuit that were only seen kind of locally. You had chances to hone
Mhm.
skills before they were
Yeah.
suddenly in front of everyone. And instead of making something, thinking something one day, putting it out to be seen the next, there was time to build and grow.
Yeah.
So I'm also trying to just remember, like, the more I keep at the things that are important to me, the better I'll get, and the more I'll
Yeah.
enjoy the things that I'm making. And yeah, I mean, I've been lucky to know a lot of really great creatives, one of which was like, you really have to remember why you make art. And I'm not trying
Yeah.
to be like, me making punching self in dick joke equals art, but I am like, to some
yeah.
extent, like, I think it's very easy to get, especially I feel that all comedians have one massive void inside of them,
Yeah, for sure.
that needs to be filled by other people
100%.
thinking they're important, myself included.
Yes.
And it makes it really easy to switch your priority to other people perceiving me as important,
Mm-hmm.
instead of, here's this song in my heart that I need to
Yeah.
sing,
And it's like, that is what it's about. It took so long for me to, because I feel like I was so caught up, especially with like, I don't know, ego bruising from COVID kind of fucking up the
Totally.
trajectory of where I felt like I was going in comedy. And it took so long to kind of get back to this feeling of like, literally, you just have to put yourself out there and try and be willing to fail and
Yeah.
be willing to like look like a fool sometimes, or
Totally.
and learn and grow from what you're doing. That's like what it is. You have to just
Yeah.
be doing it because you enjoy doing it.
Absolutely. Well, I feel like also like, there's something to be said for embracing cringe.
Yeah.
You know, I do think there's a difference between cringe that's like harmful to others in the self.
Yeah.
Really noble attempt by Tolliver to close the
Tolliver,
window as
thank
someone,
you.
as a man with a chainsaw comes to find us for saying the president is a pedophile and chop us up into pieces and feed us to the
That was
moon
amazing.
syringe.
I was like, what's happening over there?
Really appreciate the attempt. But I do also think like, yeah, that I'm trying to, my goal this year was to have the discipline to do things imperfectly.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really easy to stop yourself from starting things because you are like, well, if they're not perfect right from the jump, then I guess I should actually set myself on fire and
100%.
and go into the bog.
I struggle with perfectionism so hard. It's like why I
Yeah.
still haven't done my solo show that I've been like tinkering with for years. It's just like it's not there yet.
Right.
I'm like, but you have to just actually fucking just start and then
Totally.
figure it the
I
fuck
think
out.
also, you know, making things out here can be very isolating because you're often creating things on your own that you then go to people to be like, this is good enough for, please join in and help me make it.
Yeah.
And the opportunity to like make things with other people can be so wonderful. And I feel like as somebody who has made things with other people to success and to the detriment of a project, like it goes either way.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important to remember, like, we make things to connect with people.
Yeah.
I read this quote that I was like, oh, I really have never thought of it that way. It was like, do you climb the mountain to look at yourself or do you climb the mountain to look at the view?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Oof,
right.
yeah.
Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm doing this as some long sort of self-flagellating attempt to prove to myself I'm good, then I'm going to be hiking forever.
Exactly.
And actually what's more important is how do I break this down into projects that teach me about myself and others or help me understand things that I'm still trying to unknot, you know?
Which is what art is for people, like both people making it and the people who get to consume it once it is ready to be like shown. That's like the whole point.
Totally.
It's like you're wrestling with something and then it whatever is personal about it becomes universal, and then everyone's like, whoa, I feel less alone.
Yeah. I feel that way too. Yeah, I'm currently putting together a play that I'm hoping to put up in August.
Oh my God, amazing.
Called My Dead Dad's Weed Pen.
Oh my God.
About cleaning out, like in part cleaning out my dad's office 5 years after he died and finding his weed pen.
Oh my God.
And the show explores if I like take a pull from this weed pen, getting to have like one final conversation with him.
I love that.
Thank you.
I'll be there.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I'll have a seat ready for you.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'm trying to be like, okay, so how can I make something that teaches me about myself?
Yeah. Okay, so our final question for you today is, do you have something that what would you consider to be your most problematic opinion that you are willing to admit on a public podcast?
Totally.
And or problematic behavior you've engaged in when you're going through it, and or just like a hot take you want to pop off about to the people.
Okay, well, people are not going to like this one is what I'm going to say, first and foremost.
I love that.
And that's that, specifically on sex and fucking apps, I do not need to know your diagnoses. And I'm going to tell you, it's listed in the first 3 lines, I'm swiping left. I have no interest. X, no, leave me alone. First of all, we are all medicated. Every fucking person I've ever slept with has had a mental disorder.
Yeah.
Probably even at least 2 or 3. Second of all, I can tell you're autistic from your haircut. You don't need to put it in your bio. Unless you are, here's what I'll say. If you are on the spectrum in a way that is like so severe that you have an aid, okay, maybe include that, only because all of my friends are autistic.
Yeah.
I will say, and this is honestly like shameful, I don't have friends, I don't have like, I would say people I would consider close friends that have a level of autism that is so severe that they have daily help.
Yeah.
Means my friend group is limited. That's on me. But the reason why I'm like that, I feel it needs to be an indicator is because I'm like, okay, so that means there's going to be accommodations that need to be made. There's going to be sensory stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're any level lower than that, let me
Shut
figure out who you are when I meet you.
Right. Because we're all...
I'm just like... I went to a sex party once in LA for trans people.
Mm-hmm.
And I get there, and everyone's standing around talking about what kind of autism they have. When's the fisting gonna start?
I came here for one thing and one thing only.
Here, and you know what? And you know why? Because guess what the event's called? Sex party. Someone I'm talking to goes, I have a type of autism that's only been recognized in England. You have British autism?
Okay. All right.
Hello, I love trains.
I love the tube.
And here's the thing. People in the comments are going to call me ableist. And you know what? Quite frankly, they might be right to do so. Do I have any actual hatred or dislike or disinterest in autistic people? Fuck no.
Yeah.
Like I said, majority of my friends are autistic.
Yeah.
It's not the same as self-diagnosing or being diagnosed by a professional, but I have been accused many times of being autistic.
Yes.
And I'm also just like, guys, I will also say, you know what? Let me add a really major caveat, and that's that if you are a white gay person. Because I do feel that diagnoses of varying levels of mental illness or disability, I would say learning impediments, not physical disability, invisible disabilities in some regards, are often wielded as a way to deflect white guilt.
100%.
Not all the time.
Yes.
I wouldn't
Not
even
all the
say
time,
even 80% of the time.
But it's definitely
enough.
happening. Yeah.
It's enough that I'm like, when I see a profile that says neurospicy,
I
like
hate it. I hate it so
we're
much.
being fucking twee and infantilizing something that a lot of my friends who have severe mental illness are like, it's ruining my life.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
spicy.
I know. I'm not saying you can't find fun, acceptable ways for yourself to refer to your own obstacles that you face in a world that is not organized to support people who have a disability of literally any kind.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if it's a twee, fun, little chatty conversation piece on your fucking profile, I don't want to suck whatever genitals you have in your underwear. Because I'm also like, we'll talk about that. We'll definitely get to that.
There.
We'll talk about it. That's fine.
Other.
Great.
Yeah.
I don't need it to be the second line on your profile.
Yeah.
Unless, again, if you're like, hey, like AUHD, if for a first hookup, I need to meet in a public place that has like these sorts of accommodations to discuss these sorts of sensory issues, then it's relevant.
Right. Yes.
If it's just like,
LOL, I'm a little small bean.
if you swipe right on me, we're going to fight. We're going to fist fight. I say this. I said this before, and I'll say this again. We will fist fight in the Fountain of the Grove. I don't want to hear it.
That's amazing. I am with you. I do think it's become a thing too. It really has become a thing for a lot of white people to be like,
no, but I'm different. No, but I'm different.
Exactly.
Than the rest of them. It's not.
And I'm like, ugh.
And I'm like, again, it makes it fucking fucked up and harder for people who actually need to seek help doing day-to-day tasks.
Yeah.
I like imagine here's something. I don't see anybody, I would say, well, anybody that feels like too broad a stroke. I would say 99% of profiles I see, no one's saying I have bipolar.
Yeah.
No one's saying you know,
I have BPD.
Exactly. Like
It's,
these are not things that they're listing because I'm not saying like you shouldn't list them because you should have shame about them or something insane like that. What I'm saying is like if there's something that you're struggling with, usually on an app where you're trying to get people to fuck you, you're not listing it as the first thing.
You're putting what you're looking for.
Yes.
And what, like for me, it's like a profile will just be like what I'm looking for, and also like, by the way, I don't really sext with people that I need to like have a conversation first, like stuff like that, where it's like relevant to how to approach someone
you
in
also
this
can
scenario.
say those things without saying your diagnosis.
Yeah.
Because shorthand, I think some people think that just saying you're autistic or just saying you have ADHD means like it's shorthand and people will just know what you mean. It's not, because each of those cases are individual.
Each of them are individual. It's famously a spectrum.
Yes.
And shows up in different ways for different people. And that's kind of the point of neurodivergence, because it's divergent from whatever. And it's like,
But again, you know, I'll loop back around and say this. I also have gripes with adults who buy as adults new stuffed animals. I think that why would you do that with your money? And you know why I think that? Because there's something broken in me about my childhood.
Yeah.
Because so what? I'm not fucking buying it. It's
Yeah.
not my money. It's not my house.
Yeah.
I don't have to fucking sleep with 75 squishmallows or whatever the fuck they're called on my bed. So why do I give a shit? And so it's a me issue.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, when I say this as my bad hot take, I'm not like, and everybody should take this on. I'm like, yeah, it's probably because there's something in me that feels ashamed about my own stuff that I'm medicated for. Probably.
Yeah.
And also, I do think that it's important, like, because I was that 20-year-old that went to I went to university in Montreal, friends with a bunch of people with far left politics, and was like, learned that racism was real and was like, I'm gonna solve this tonight. They just haven't had me on the case. I'm gonna fix it. That said and did so many insane things and had the worst haircuts you could ever see in your life. Like that shit, you know when you see a lesbian with a Jimmy Neutron hair and you're like, you cannot be eating pussy with that thing. I did, and I wasn't. I did have that hair, and I wasn't eating pussy. So regrettably, really aerodynamic with that thing. I have a photo. I'll find it. You're like, how is it so tall? Anyways, that sometimes I kind of wish that there was someone who was there. I did have some like people who were like older queers in my life who were like, hey, so having far left politics and, you know, staunch morals is actually not a competition. And sometimes you have a long way to learn, and sometimes people will make mistakes, and it's important to build community in a way that ultimately uplifts everyone and recognizes that we're all facing significant challenges.
Yeah.
And so my hope is that me giving that hot take, it just tells someone like, hey, this thing that you've defined what you can do every day by, I'm not saying it doesn't disable you to the extent you think. I'm just saying you probably are capable of a lot more than the box you're putting yourself in.
Yeah.
And that there are many ways to present yourself on an app where you want someone to fuck you in the ass that aren't, here are all the medications I take and how many milligrams of each I take.
It's let's get to date one.
Yeah, I'll also say the people who are listing this in their profile, I don't think they're taking like 100 milligrams of Lexapro. You know what I mean?
Definitely not.
No. They're on the 10 milligram
They're
grind.
like, there's something different about me. Isn't that
interesting?
It's really about that, is what it feels like.
Is what it feels like.
To me, personally.
So anyways, that's my take.
Hey, amazing.
Sorry to adults with stuffed animals. Listen, if you have a stuffed animal that you had since you were a kid and there's sentimental value, that's different in my opinion. But if you have a room filled with little dolls and toys, I'm passing judgment. Do I think it's right for me to do so? No.
Yeah.
Am I doing it? Am I being honest that I do it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know, we need more of that.
Do we?
Honesty.
Do we?
Admitting your own prejudice.
I am just like, I think part of the reason why it grinds my gears so much is that we've entered this phase of catering to the infantilized adult.
Yeah.
Where so many of the major networks are like, we're going to cater to the most middle and right, no, it's actually right and far right politics in our film and TV and the stories we're telling, the people we're casting, you know, the level of intelligence we're expecting our audiences to have. And also, though everyone has a right to have kind of like arrested development because we live in a fucked up world, and specifically there are a lot of queer and trans people who like are at times victims of queer temporality. They didn't get to have their explorations as kids and teens because they were shamed, and they're having this kind of like, you know,
stuck in puberty or something.
Yes, as they get older, and you have to respect it. You know, everyone goes through their rainbow flag phase. I get it.
The rainbow flag phase.
Where the pride parade seems like the most political thing you could ever do in your life.
Insane.
I understand.
Yes.
Honestly, this is also a lot of all white queer shit, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Very true.
And I am like, it is affecting the stuff that we can put out into the world. People are being purposely obtuse. They're trying to define themselves by 1 billion different micro identities because they could not think of anything worse than being misunderstood or being seen as not good. Yes. And I'm like, hey, let's go back to the version where, yeah, of course you can call out someone when they do something fucked up. Of
Yeah.
course. We've been doing that since the dawn of time. I watched this video the other day where a wasp entered a bee's nest of a bunch of honeybees and they swarmed it and killed it. Like, it's okay to be like, that's a threat. It's got to be neutralized.
Yeah.
And also, let's also recognize there's a spectrum of what is actually considered an emergency or actually considered a disaster. Chapel Rowan and a fucking kid and a
Yeah.
bodyguard or something. I don't even
Yeah.
know what fully happened. Who cares?
It's shut
Who
up.
cares?
There's so much stuff that I'm like, who cares? Shut up.
I
We're
know.
getting so up in arms about such.
I think that's why a lot of people shit on Disney adults. Do I think
Yeah.
they're all evil and fucked up and stupid? No. I think there's a lot of people who like take their kids to Disneyland and that's a thing, or people who are like, you know, I love big world stories. I do a lot of tabletop gaming and it's cool to go to a place where there's
Yeah.
like literally a set I can walk through or ride
Yeah.
a roller coaster through, whatever. And the people who are like, this is everything that's good in the world. My sense of morality is determined off of fucking Moana, which was
Yeah.
made for children.
Yeah.
And who refuse to engage in anything intellectually above that. That is what's getting us trapped in this loop.
Yeah.
And these are like, I'm sounding like a fucking far right commentator. I understand.
I don't
that.
think that.
But I do
so.
think
I
that
think-
like
I don't
tried
think
and
so.
true leftists are like, liberalism is a disease.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
that's where we get the fucking pussy hats. That's where we think no king's protests are enough.
Mhm.
I'm like, we need to be burning down
Yeah.
factories.
We literally do. Hey, this
know?
is like third episode in a row I've said it. More warehouse fires. Let's go. Another Luigi. Let's go. And I
Yes.
get myself
That
flagged.
it is like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. That it is just, I think, you know, the right, I think we don't have time for pearl clutching anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that the right is saying crazy shit like Sandy Hook never happened, which is incredibly insane and like tragic, which
Insane.
was a whole era. They are now stripping voter rights for people who are not white.
Yes.
They are gerrymandering across the country.
Yeah.
These are things that are literally legislatively negatively impacting us, which
Yes.
is different than someone saying something in a tweet online.
Yes.
So I'm kind of like, okay, let's all wrap our heads around the list of priorities.
Yep.
And get going on that.
Yeah, no, I'll be like, we're not going to tweet our way out of this one, fellas. We're going to have to hit the ground running and get some action going. It's
Exactly.
I tweet to say, we're not going to tweet our way out of this one,
Yeah, but that's the thing
guys.
is, I'm saying all this as if I engage with any or all of this at all perfectly.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking not. And at the same time, I'm like, when I try and like do a deep dive on like, why do I have these like gripes about these certain groups of liberals that ultimately are quote unquote my allies, like other like gay people in the gay community, whatever, who just don't live like radical lives.
Yeah.
Part of it for sure is like an internalized like issue of my own, like growing up as a kid and whatever, and like, oh, like maybe if I had more freedom as a kid, I'd be able to have stuffed animals as an adult, and that would be amazing to me. But a lot of it is also, I'm like, what are we giving up? What is the ground we're giving up when we are giving over to, I'm not saying if you own a stuffed animal, you are contributing to the backslide, front slide into fascism.
Yeah.
But I am saying, like, I honestly, I was having this conversation with some people when I was in London, was I have more in common with another broke person who's homophobic than a, you know, billionaire who's literally gay.
Yeah, exactly.
Or in like Caitlyn Jenner's case, a trans person.
Yep.
So I'm like,
Class over everything.
yes. So I am kind of like, well, it's time, everybody.
Literally.
It's
and we
time.
have to unite against the evil we do. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're going to have to link arms and do it.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yep,
And
and
that's
I-
a rally call.
And I will link arms with the homophobe and the adult with the Lilo and Stitch backpack.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
I will. When
At
the
end
time
of the day,
comes,
we're gonna do
we're
that.
all there together in the
Yeah.
trench.
Incredible. And you heard it here first. We're all there together in the trench. Oh my God, DJ, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for joining me today. What a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. It was
And
so nice to be here.
It was so nice to get real and also laugh a lot.
Yeah.
I always laugh with you, and it's
Mhm.
always fun. And
Same.
yeah, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. We're
Yay.
trauma bonded for life.
Forever. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Trauma Bond with Theresa Bateman. This podcast is hosted, created, and edited by me, Theresa Bateman, produced by Ali Giordani. Our perfect theme song is written and performed by Tolliver. We are an independent podcast, so if you like what you hear, please leave us a 5-star review. It really helps. And you can also join us as a paid subscriber on Substack for any exclusive bonus content, or if you just want to support the podcast and what we do. Bye!
And light another dude, cause it's what? It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. Them boys, they love the trauma. Them girls, they love the drama. NB just slapped my mama. Oh God, here comes the karma. Let's go. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma